Hey there, today we've got the planet Saturn returning to Pisces. So Saturn went into Aries in late May and then stationed retrograde and now is retrograding back into Pisces as of early this morning, Pacific time. So we've got some work to complete with that energy of Saturn in Pisces. Neptune is still in Aries. Neptune will eventually return to Pisces as well before both planets move direct and have their exact conjunction in 2026, where they will remain in Aries for, the rest of their time as they move through. So we also have the moon today in Sagittarius, continuing through, and eventually later in the day will form a trine to Mercury and a square to Saturn and then Neptune as the moon enters Capricorn at 6:44 p.m. Pacific time. So let's break it down. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Monday, September 1st. Thank you for joining me. So looking at this moon energy, right, with Sagittarius and that bigger picture of meaning, I spoke about on Saturday when we had that first quarter moon in Sagittarius activating the Virgo sun. So late Saturday night, we had that first quarter moon, so some steering needed there to make some decisions, especially having to do with beliefs and our understanding and how we make sense of what is unfolding, events and circumstances around us. So stepping into boldly into what it is we need to embrace in order to continue to move things forward. So where do we need to step into the beliefs that are going to help us continue forward, right? Some optimism, maybe some faith, and stepping into that bigger picture of realistic understanding of where we're at and where you are at in your life. So we've also got, of course, Saturn returning to Pisces. So speaking of realism and that Saturn energy returning to the Pisces vibe of the transcendent, the spiritual, getting real and realistic about what things feel like in the broader environment, the broader context. So remember, Pisces has to do with confusion, delusion, losing touch with our sense of orientation. So Saturn in Pisces says, notice, right? Notice where you have gotten off track. Notice where you are confused or maybe misled or maybe misunderstood, or maybe you're experiencing some gaslighting or manipulation. So being real and honest with yourself about that. And that is some of the work that we're going to be completing with Saturn now back in Pisces, where it will be in until we're into 2026. So these next months, really looking at, okay, what is the deeper truth here? What is going on? Where have we allowed ourselves to believe in an illusion? So that's sort of bigger picture where Saturn is, and how that is shifting from the Saturn in Aries vibe, which is bold, courageous, action oriented. So now we're back in the vibe of focusing on our beliefs, how we view the world, what is the narrative, what is the mythology, and recognizing where we might have gotten off track related to how we view things and our understanding of the bigger picture. So the moon continues today through Sagittarius, storytelling, meaning making, seeing that big picture and being able to put it into context, put it into words, and be able to share what is unfolding for you in terms of your ability to see that bigger picture. And then later in the day, around 4 p.m. Pacific, the moon starts to first has a trine with Mercury in late Leo, and then forms a square with Saturn in late Pisces, and then the moon enters Capricorn, where it forms an exact square with Neptune. So these energies all are kind of activating a highlight on this Saturn energy, and the shift of the moon into Capricorn also makes things feel real, right? Those hard things to confront, the harder truths, the reality, right? You might want to believe things are a certain way, and you might find that in reality, they are in fact something else. So that's where we need to be really real, really honest with ourselves about what we are dealing with in our lives and in the world. And this is going to highlight some of that. And then as the moon shifts into Capricorn, the potential here, right? The self-care invitation is to focus on foundations. So what is going to serve you as you think about what is next for you, right? How do you make a plan? How do you come up with the infrastructure that will support you executing on that plan, right? So I mean, that could be as simple as a to-do list, right? Having that structure to follow, um, doing some calendaring, some scheduling, some planning. It could also be, laying out the foundations of something you're working on, either writing it out or creating a map or putting it, I love the example of spreadsheets, putting it on a spreadsheet. So there are lots of possibilities, but we want to think about the energy of how we create that foundation that's going to help us stay strong as we move forward with that Capricorn energy. And Saturn in Pisces, kind of has that dissolving effect on our structures. So you may find that you put something into a structure and now you can't find it, or it doesn't seem to work anymore, or something is not keeping that solid foundation in place for you. So roll with it, right? Go with the flow, trust that it will work out, and maybe there's an opportunity to come back to something and think about your next, recreate that to-do list, or or working on some sort of plan or system that's going to help you move forward. So that's what we want to think about for today. Lots going on in the energy. But in general, with Sagittarius Moon most of the day, we want to think about taking that deep breath, taking that pause, seeing that bigger picture, taking a step back so we can, have that moment of reflection and really ask ourselves, how does this inform my understanding of where I'm at in my life and what comes next for me? And then, of course, thinking about how you can support yourself with foundations to be effective in what is important to you, right? What is that bigger picture of meaning and what love feels like to you? What having your spiritual needs and a sense of meaning in your life feel like? So, there you go. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to those of you who joined me yesterday for my talk on Virgo with OPA, the Organization for Professional Astrology. It was fantastic, and so it was so fun to see some of you there, and thank you for your support, and I look forward to continuing to provide your Astro vibes. And don't forget to check out my member site. I will be talking more about that, and I have time now to come back to that and continue to build that community there. So stick with me here, and thank you so much. I'm Marina Orms. My website is astrologyheals.com. My member site is transformationalastrology.com. Thank you for subscribing to this YouTube channel, and I will see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.